Okay. Oops, my camera's not open. There we go. All right, we left off on fractions of fractions, multiplying fractions, and we are on page 10 now. So this is the left side of page 10. And today we're talking about dividing fractions. Oh, joy. And I'm going to put that on my table of contents. Dividing fractions can be a really tricky concept to get our brains around because fractions are already a form of division. So like 1/2 is 1 divided into 2 pieces, which gives us a half. So it's like we're dividing what we're dividing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's hard to think about. So I wanted to give us some examples. So let's say some questions when you were learning division is you probably had 2 questions that were division questions. So one would be, how many groups of some certain number can be made from some other number? So in the example, 32 divided by 2, the question would be, how many groups of 2 can be made from 32? So I'll write that under there. And the answer would be 16. I can make 16 groups. The other question that we sometimes ask is, if I make blank groups, I should say blank equal groups, because that is important. How many groups can, or no, how many, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. If I make blank equal groups, how many will go in each group? So in this case, if I say 32 divided by 2, I'm saying, okay, if I have 32 things and I make 2 equal groups, how many would be in each group? And the answer would be 16. So that's what division is with whole numbers. The same thing applies now that we're talking about fractions. So let's say an example is, I have a ribbon that is, you know what I'll do? Wallpaper, because I wallpapered my room last year and I actually did use fraction division. So let's say that I have 7/8 of a foot of wallpaper and I need to cut it into strips of 1/16 inches. Or 1/16 of a foot, sorry. And so I want to know, how many strips can I make? So if I have, this is going to be here's my wallpaper. And I have 7/8 of a foot, so I'm going to divide it into 8ths. Okay, and here is 7/8 of the foot. This is the wallpaper I have. And I want to divide it into chunks of 1/16 of a foot. Well, in order to figure that out, I'm going to split my ribbon up into 16ths of a foot, or my wallpaper. I can't even remember what I'm doing right now. So right now, these are in 8ths of a foot, and I need to make it 16ths of a foot. So I'm going to split each one in half, so I have 16 pieces. So my 1 foot is now 16/16ths of a foot. So the question is, how many of these pieces can I make? And I can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces. These can be very confusing because often we will get bigger numbers as a result. So typically, when you have divided numbers, you get a smaller number as your result. When we divide fractions, that's not usually the case. Usually, the answer gets bigger than what we started with, because what we started with were parts of a whole, and we're saying how many parts can be made out of there. I know that's crazy. Let's do another example. So let's say that I have one half of a cup of chocolate chips, and I'm going to divide it into 4 equal groups. In this case, I'm dividing by a whole number, so it might be a little bit easier to wrap my brain around, but I'm going to start by saying, all right, if here's I had the half a cup, I'm going to divide my half of a cup into 4 pieces. So in each group, this is now one group, each group will be 1/8 of a cup. Because this was a cup right here, right? So in that case, the answer didn't get bigger. It got smaller, which is hard to wrap your head around. Also, I should move that marker so people know that's not inappropriate. That's what we're doing. So for today, all the ones you are going to do are going to be ones that you can draw a picture of. So when you get a question, you're going to, first of all, draw the first fraction. And then you're going to split it up by the second number. Oh, I should say fraction slash number because you might get a whole number. Make pieces out of the second fraction slash number. So I'm going to give you a problem to draw on the space down here, and that will be something I'm looking for when I check your notes today. So let's say, oops, I'm going to use color. How many groups of 1/5 can you make from 2? So in other words, the question is 2 divided by 1/5 equals what? So you should have a picture drawn and you should get an answer, and we will see if you're right or not.